All right. Hello and welcome. If you're a host here in beautiful Kavala or you're even just thinking about it, you are in exactly the right place. Because look, the rental market isn't what it used to be. The rules have changed, and knowing how to play the new game is how you're going to win. So let's dive right in. So let me just ask you something right off the bat. Are you really ready for the guest who's booking today? Because I can tell you, the person looking at your property right now is a whole different person than the tourist you might have been thinking about a few years ago. And that really gets us to the first big idea here. You see, the new renter in Kavala, they're so much more than just a tourist. There's been this quiet but absolutely massive shift in how people are using platforms like Airbnb. What's really happening is that people aren't just looking for a quick weekend escape anymore. No, they're booking for weeks, sometimes even months at a time. They are literally turning rentals into their temporary homes. And a place like Kavala, it's a total hotspot for this. It's got that perfect mix, the amazing coastal lifestyle, but with an affordability and a sense of calm that these long-term guests are actively hunting for. So this all leads to probably the single most important thing we're going to talk about. If you want to succeed with these new guests, you have to make a critical shift in your mindset. You've got to start thinking like a resident. And honestly, this one quote says it all. You're not offering a nice place to stay, you're offering a place to live. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't about having a comfy bed for a couple of nights. It's about creating a functional, comfortable space where someone can actually live their day-to-day life. That right there is the game changer. And this just breaks it down perfectly. A tourist, they're wowed by a cool-looking apartment right next to all the bars. They'll put up with a lumpy mattress or a slow kettle for a weekend, right? But a resident, someone staying for a month, they need daily comfort. They need a kitchen that actually works. They want a quiet street so they can sleep. What a tourist just shrugs off, a resident sees as a daily frustration. And trust me, that frustration is absolutely going to end up in their final review. Okay, so knowing all that, what are the absolute, rock-solid, non-negotiable things you need to have? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what these long-term guests are actually putting into their search filters. Listen, if you only take one piece of advice from this, please let it be this one. You could have the most stunning beachfront apartment in all of Kavala, but if your Wi-Fi is flaky, it's game over. For a remote worker, internet isn't a fun little extra. It's a utility. It's just like water and electricity. Upgrading your internet is, without a doubt, the single best return on investment you can make, period. And speaking of work, you've got to give them a real place to do it. And look, this doesn't have to be expensive. We are not talking about some fancy corporate home office. It's simple stuff. A proper desk, and please, for the love of all that is holy, not the wobbly kitchen table. A chair that won't destroy their back, some good lighting, and power outlets that they don't have to go on a treasure hunt for. Getting these basics right will immediately put your listing leagues ahead of most of the competition. Okay, so once you've nailed those basics, it's time to add in those layers of comfort, the things that really transform a place from just being a rental into a space that actually feels like a home. Let's talk about the kitchen, because this is so important. People who are staying for a month, they are going to cook. They do not want to find 2 plates, 2 forks, and a single sad-looking saucepan. They're expecting a decent coffee machine, a full set of pots and pans, and knives that can actually cut something. I'm telling you, a badly equipped kitchen is one of the fastest ways to get a bad review from a long-term guest. And let's get into some of those other essentials that get overlooked all the time. A high-quality mattress is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Same with a sofa that's actually comfortable to sit on every single evening. And, being in Kavala, good, effective air conditioning is an absolute must. And here's a big one, real empty storage. Remember, these guests unpack. They want to put their suitcases away and forget about them, not live out of a bag for 4 weeks. So now let's talk about how all of this, the physical space, translates into your actual business strategy. Because attracting these fantastic long-term guests is really about hosting smarter, not working harder. It's all in your pricing, your communication, and how you present your property. Pricing is where so many hosts get it wrong. That super high nightly rate, the long-term guest never even sees your listing because they're filtering by their monthly budget, and you've already priced yourself out. The winning move is a clear, obvious monthly discount right up front. And get rid of any vague fees. It just creates distrust. All-inclusive, transparent pricing is what gives someone the confidence to click book for a 30-day stay. And here are 3 more killer strategies. First, your communication style. These guests want independence, so be super responsive when they need you, but don't check in on them every day. Second, flexibility. Things like self-check-in just remove friction and make it easier to book. And third, reframe your location. If you're not in the heart of the noisy tourist center, that's a good thing. Market that quiet neighborhood as a feature, a perfect retreat for a resident. So why do all this? What's the payoff? Well, it's huge. When you focus on these longer stays, you get way fewer turnovers, which means fewer cleaning fees and less hassle. You get way less operational stress. Your income becomes stable and predictable. You're not just scrambling to fill weekends anymore. You're actually building a sustainable, more profitable business. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. When you walk into your property, what do you see? Is it just a listing with some pretty pictures? Or is it a comfortable, functional space that could actually be someone's home for a while? Because the answer to that question is what's going to define your success in Kavala's rental market from now on.